One of the biggest challenges I face as a YouTuber is deciding whether to stay in my lane or take a risk and branch out with videos. That's exactly the kind of challenge Elden Ring Night Reign is dealing with now. From Software's latest project is a multiplayer roguelike set in the world of Elden Ring. But it's not Elden Ring. Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a Souls-like. More like Souls-like roguelike, Souls-like battle royale hybrid. I think I smelled toast. I played the game during the official network test, and here are my first impressions. Is it fun? The answer is a hesitant maybe. Let's break it down. Night Reign is a 3-player roguelike where AI-generated worlds change with each run. A full session lasts about 40 minutes, a 3-day in-game cycle. From Software games are known usually for their polished difficulty and minimal hand-holding. Night Reign stays true to that legacy. Combat feels like it was ported directly from Elden Ring, and that's a good thing. Dodging, targeting, weapon arts, incantation all feel similar. They've made some tweaks adding abilities for each class, but it fits seamlessly in my opinion. That's no surprise since Junya Ishizaki, a veteran of Elden Ring and Bloodborne, directed this project. Enemy design is mostly unchanged from Elden Ring, which also works in this context. It's not trying to be a new mainline Souls game, but rather just a fresh experience and take for longtime fans. Boss battles will remain a highlight of the game. In addition to porting over mechanics from Elden Ring, Night Reign introduces a few new ones that really feel good. The sprint mechanic along with double jumping and hurdling over objects add a nice quality of life improvement. Class abilities function like additional weapon arts on rolling cooldowns, and the invincibility frames they provide are the icing on the cake. The biggest shift is how the game handles death. Traditional Souls-like games thrive on trial and error. Fight, die, learn, repeat. Get good. Night Reign, however, has no run back to bosses. Your team wipes at the end of day boss, the run is just over. Customization is also now streamlined. Instead of allocating stat points, leveling is preset per class. There were 8 classes at launch, there's 4 in the beta. This keeps the gameplay loop fast but removes the deep build variety a lot of Souls fans love. The gear system itself feels a little chaotic. Because of the constant time constraint, you often grab the highest number weapon and move on, making team synergy more luck-based than strategic. I just have to correct myself. After playing a little more, it's not so much the duress that you're under when grabbing loot. I think it's the lack of control. It's a really stark difference from the game that it's based on. So if you're coming over from Elden Ring or any other, Soulsborne, Souls-like title where you have a lot of control in your build and items seem to almost kind of fit together well. In Night Reign, you're just kind of picking stuff up either because it's power value or because you like the passive, or because you just don't have anything else in your inventory. And I don't think it feels as good as it could. It got darker. And I changed clothes. A brief note on ritual rites. At the end of each run, win or lose, you return to the round table hold with some prizes. These are color-coded, and each has its own passive effect, allowing for some pre-run character setup. I'd like to think when the full game releases, the potential for ritual rites will expand, but for now, I'm not sure how deep that system will go. Night Reign isn't a Souls game. It's much closer to a roguelike. The full release will feature procedurally generated maps, but the beta build only included a single static map. How well Night Reign holds up long-term will depend on how unique and varied these maps feel at launch, and that remains a major unknown. From Software has a nearly flawless track record, but betas are usually a strong indicator of the final product. While the gameplay mechanics feel polished, the decision to keep map generation under wraps raises some questions. If executed well, the randomization could add a lot of replayability, but it's a stark departure from the meticulously designed worlds that Souls fans are used to, and that seems like a big risk to me. Co-op is the core of Night Reign, but it also has potential drawback. The game is designed around 3-player teams, and while that made sense for a network test, the solo experience remains a mystery. The teammates you get will heavily impact your enjoyment of the game. My best runs were with more competent players, and I suspect the ideal way to play is going to be with your friends. But scheduling sessions and maintaining a consistent squad isn't always easy. I'm 35. It's hard to get my friends sitting down in front of a video game for that long. Some fights also felt a little undertuned, especially with more skilled teammates, making it easy to feel like a third wheel. This was particularly noticeable during the final boss fight I had with Gladios. I felt like I was the only one doing it for the first time, and that sucked. So circling back, is Night Reign a fun game? My final answer is a conditional yes. I enjoyed my time playing the beta, but it left me with a lot of questions. Will the release version's gameplay loop feel good? Will fighting 5 to 7 bosses in a 40-minute round get tiring, get old, or will there be enough diversity in the final roster of enemies that each round doesn't feel like kind of a slog? Will I be able to find a good group to play with? I don't know. But I have trust because FromSoft has never let me down in the past, and honestly is always kind of over-delivered. So on May 20th, the only thing I'll ask is where we drop it. If you guys played the beta, watch any of the streams, or just have your own thoughts, let me know. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, sub, and all that jazz, and I'll see you in the next one.